Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I really hope you're all well. First of all, I've had my hair done. I'm so happy. I can't stop looking at it, so I'm really sorry if I keep staring at myself in the flip out screen, but I actually only had it done today, so I'm a little bit obsessed with the fact that I'm actually blonde again and I no longer have roots down to my ears. This is the first time I've had anything done to my hair since October last year, so it's been a long time coming and I am literally just so happy that I'm blonde again. So yeah. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, I'm here today with a romance haul. As you guys know, I think I've kind of made it clear that I'm in a real kind of like romance mood at the moment. It's a thing I'm most interested in reading, it's a thing I'm most interested in watching on BookTube, and I'm really enjoying finding new romance books to try, which obviously is meaning that I'm buying more and more romance books at the moment. So although I wasn't intending on doing another book haul so soon after the one I uploaded a few weeks ago, here I am with a romance book haul and my bank account hates me, quite frankly. Anyway, I'm just going to get straight on into it with two books I have actually already read before I go on to the unread ones, and the first one is The Initiation by Nikki Sloan. So this is the first in the Filthy Rich Americans series, which I think at this point spans maybe like 5 or 6 books. So this series centres around the character of Marist, who is a early 20s girl living in this super affluent neighbourhood, which is kind of almost owned by this bank. Basically the family that own the bank kind of employ everybody within the neighbourhood, so everyone's kind of like defers to them and they have this really crazy like power imbalance, and Marist and her sister end up getting kind of caught up with the bank manager's son, Royce, who turns out to be honestly really manipulative and super toxic. But I mean, of course, because it's one of these romance books, so I mean obviously the main male character is going to be a little bit questionable. But this honestly goes in so many crazy directions. Like, I really did not see the ending coming, and although the writing isn't like the best I've ever read in my life, I will pick up the next one just based off of the cliffhanger that you're left on in this. So this first book basically surrounds this initiation ceremony that Royce has to go through, and one of the two sisters is going to have to go through that initiation with him, and basically the initiation involves her and like the entire board of directors and Royce. So I'm sure you can kind of guess the kind of situation that I'm describing here. Not for the faint-hearted, and definitely not for the younger audience. In fact, all of these books are a definite 18 plus, by the way, so I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, it's spicy, it's interesting, it made my skin crawl in places, but it made me want to keep reading. Definitely very taboo. There's a lot of very questionable things that happen in this book, but I actually really did enjoy reading it, and it's only quite short, so one that you will definitely sail through. And I think I will pick up, like I say, the next one in the series and maybe the rest of the series, just to see where it goes, because honestly at this point, like, I don't know how it can, like, where it can go from here. But yeah, it was good, I enjoyed it, and I think I gave it like 3 stars, I think. Another 3-star read for me, this was Hideaway by Penelope Douglas. This is the second in the Devil's Night series. With it being the second one, obviously I can't really go into too much detail on the plot, although I guess each of these books could work as a standalone as well to a degree. But basically the Devil's Night series is about a group of 4 guys who call themselves the 4 Horsemen, and every single year, the night before Halloween, they have what they call a Devil's Night, which is basically where they go out and create havoc. And they've done this since high school, but this series follows them when they're all grown up. And each book centres around a different one of the horsemen. So the first book centres around Michael and his love interest. This one centres around Kai and his love interest. It's a dual POV, so you obviously get some chapters from Kai's perspective and some chapters from Banks's perspective. This one I didn't enjoy quite so much as Corrupt, which was the first one, which I loved, and I think this one was just a little bit slower paced, and that's why. There was a lot of it's enemies to lovers. It's kind of a slow burn but also kind of not, and there's just a lot of like getting to the point, if that makes sense, that it just kind of like lost me a little bit. Whereas I think with Corrupt you were kind of straight into the action right away, and like less so with this one. But the ending was good, and kind of the last like 100 pages were definitely a lot better, because that's where all the action was kind of really taking place. So I definitely enjoyed it. I can't wait to read the rest of the series. Just this wasn't like my favourite, but I also, to be honest, I think Kai was like my least favourite out of the characters anyway, so I was never going to be like crazy excited to read this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next one, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second, and I feel like if you are like me wanting to read the whole series, you won't be mad at reading this one, but also it might not be your fave. Also, I'm not a fan of the cover. I don't know why. Like, I love the Japanese characters, or it's supposed to be Japanese because Kai is half Japanese, I believe. So I hope I've got that right with the Japanese characters. I like them, but I'm just not sure that, like, I don't know, it's just not my favourite cover. Okay, so onto the unread ones now. So obviously I can only give you like a brief synopsis of these. But first up we have Highest Bidder by Georgia LaCar. So this is about Freya, and she's living with her mum after her dad has died, and they're really, really struggling for money. They're about to get kicked out. She's about to get kicked out of college because she can't pay. So she decides to auction off her virginity to the highest bidder at a club called the Blue Butterfly, which apparently is a club for extreme pleasure. I don't know anything else about it other than that, but I'm guessing this guy is going to be some super rich billionaire who's probably going to fall in love with her, who's definitely going to take her virginity, and then maybe she's just going to end up getting whisked away to a new life. Like, that is what I am imagining. It says here it's a full-length, steamy and emotional standalone romance with HEA. Now, I don't know actually what HEA means, so if anyone can enlighten me in the comments, that would be great. I'm still learning all of these little like acronyms and stuff, but yeah, I am looking forward to reading this a lot. I think it just sounds like my kind of thing, you know, steamy and taboo. I'm here for it. Now we have two more Penelope Douglases. As you can probably tell, I'm really enjoying her writing, and she's kind of the author that has, I guess, got me into reading kind of more taboo romances, so I'm kind of wanting to read all of hers. I feel like I don't know, I've got a little bit of like an affinity with her now at this point. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, another standalone here. We have Punk 57. I feel like this has been doing the rounds a lot recently. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I've seen it a lot on TikTok, on BookTube. And to my knowledge, this is about two kids who get paired to be pen pals with each other because they both have names that also work for the opposite sex. So they get kind of paired together by accident, but they hit it off as friends, and their rule is that they're never going to meet, but they're just going to chat, and they have a really great time chatting, and then one day they meet completely by accident and don't actually like each other. To my knowledge, yeah, that's what it is. So I guess maybe it's like a friends to enemies to lovers kind of romance. I don't know, but people say this is really good and just a really fun time, so I'm excited to try it. And then I also have Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas, which is the third book in the Devil's Night series. Now this one I am actually really looking forward to reading because this follows Damon, who I think is the most interesting of the Four Horsemen characters, because he has a lot of inner demons that you're kind of already learning about. You learned quite a lot about his motivations to do what he's done in the second book, and I think he's going to be a really interesting character to delve into. So this, like I say, follows Damon, and I think his love interest is the girl that he mentions in the first book, which we kind of see him do some kind of bad stuff to on the first Devil's Night. So I'll be curious to see like how their story plans out. And just learning more about Damon. I'm hoping it kind of makes me see him in a different light, because so far he's been painted as like quite an evil guy. I mean, they're all really, really corrupt, to be honest. Like, there's not a single one of them who is actually like a nice person. Like, they all do really awful things in every single one of the books. But yeah, I'm curious to see if this can like change my mind and change my perception of him, or if I'm still gonna think he is a dick. I don't know, we'll see. So I've just kind of like switched position a little bit, so I hope this doesn't look too weird that I'm not where I was a minute ago. Alright, so the next one I have is a little bit of a beast, but I've seen this mentioned a lot as well, and I'm just so curious. So this is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I have never read like a football romance before, but it sounds really cool and everyone keeps going on about it, and it's apparently like the ultimate kind of slow burn romance, and yeah, I'm excited. So I guess this is about a girl called Vanessa who is some kind of PA to a professional footballer who treats her like dirt. So she decides to leave, and all of a sudden he turns up on her doorstep begging for her back. And I think there's that kind of blurred lines between employer and like a romantic interest maybe, and I mean it's a thick one, so I think this is going to be, like I say, a super slow burn. I'm quite excited to see how it develops, and just to see if I like the kind of sports romance, because I haven't tried one of those before. I'm kind of, in the past I've always read like the billionaire romances, you know, or things like the not Corrupt series, the Devil's Night series. So yeah, this is going to be something very different, but I'm excited to try it. I'm also really loving reading these romances that are kind of, I guess, more indie published. I feel like they are, because they've not got the publisher on the spine, and they all have that like feel to them that the Amazon printed books have. You know what I mean? Yeah, like they're all kind of like indie published, and I'm really here for that. I'd love to actually publish a book before I turn 30. That's kind of one of my big goals. I love how I'm just putting that out there on the internet now. I have actually started writing something, so I'm quite excited to get further into that. But I'm obviously, I think, paying more attention now to how things are published and where things are published, and I'm just, yeah, really enjoying being able to give my money to indie authors rather than just kind of like major authors. Anyway, that was me getting sidetracked. Next up, I have Voya by Fiona Cole. So I think this is the first in a series, and it's about a club called Voya. I'm guessing it's going to be like some kind of strip club or sex club, and there's a girl performing there, and a guy goes to watch her who is a teacher, and then like the next day she turns up in his class and he's like, oh shit. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's like a teacher-student romance. Obviously there's that like voyeurism aspect, which is going to be really interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book that centres around that. I've read one by Christina Lauren that's got like themes of that in. It was one of her beautiful books. It was like the first steamy series I ever read, and one of the characters likes to perform at a sex club. So I guess I've read like an element of that, but not kind of like a full-on book about it. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this is like. I heard about it through Morta Mary, who I've mentioned on my channel before. I do get a lot of like book inspo through her, so she really liked it, and I do tend to like the books that she likes, so I figured it was probably a good shout. Next up, I have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. and Becca Ritchie, sorry. So this series is, I think, about a kind of a group of, I want to say siblings, but I could be wrong, who all kind of have their own like demons that they are facing. And in this first one, it is Lily, who is addicted to sex, and her best friend is addicted to booze, and they basically move in together, and I think it's like a fake dating trope. So yeah, they fake date to try and hide their addictions, but then actually I think fall in love. But a lot of people say this is brilliant, and I just thought, you know what, we'll try it, because this has like a quite a big series, and then like a spin-off series as well, featuring I think the children of the characters in this series. I think if I like it, then I quite like getting into like big series, because obviously, you know, you get attached to the characters, and I quite like that. Similarly, I have another first in a series here. So this is Vicious, which is the first of the Sinners of Saints series by LJ Shen. I actually know nothing about this, to be honest. Okay, so I think it's one of those like power imbalance kind of relationships. So he is like super powerful, like a lawyer, really rich. She's like a starving artist, and I think she has like some kind of connection to his family in the past. Like, I don't know if she worked for him. Oh, the daughter of someone who worked for him. Okay, so that's kind of like how they know each other, and he's like gone after her or something. He's bad news wrapped in a good suit, apparently. So I mean, it sounds like 90% of the people I've dated, to be actually, no, that's quite generous. It sounds like maybe 20% of the people I've dated, the rest have not worn a good suit. But yeah, quite excited to read this. This one feels like really big, like wide in comparison to all the other books. It's a really strange observation, I know, but like if I line them up, like so much wider. What's that about? Anyway, that was a book haul. I'm excited to read these. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of them, or if you have any recommendations for me based upon the books that I'm featuring, because like I said, this is what I'm most interested in reading at the minute. I am trying to clear the rest of my TBR at the minute, like my massive pile of unread books, so that I can get to reading pretty much primarily romance for a while. I do feel like I'm one of these people that I just kind of like hop from genre to genre, and I have a moment with each of them. So for a while I just read YA, and then I just read fantasy, and now I'm just reading romance, and before all of them I was just reading thrillers. So I do kind of tend to like jump between genres quite a bit. And yeah, right now I'm just in such a romance mood. So if you guys have any romance recommendations based off the back of things like this, let me know, because I am definitely on board for reading more. And with that, I am going to bid you goodbye. So as always, please do give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and also make sure you're following me on Instagram and on my main channel as well. I will have both of those linked in the down bar, but obviously that's just where you can find a whole lot more of me. So if that's something that you like, yeah, make sure you go and follow along, and I will see you in another video very soon. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.